Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at top 10 teams for the Open Great League for the final Legend push. It's going to be the final week of this season, and I am very happy that the season's over because I feel like this was one of the worst seasons we ever had. But let me know in the comment section what you feel about this season. But anyway, we're going to have here today 10 teams that might get you to Legend. Final week for this. Hopefully it's going to go fast. But anyway, if you enjoy this type of videos, feel free to subscribe. Would really appreciate it. And we can move on to team number 1. Team number 1 going to be a team that got my brother up to rank 1 in the world, which is from also for the battles. I think we're going to have here a team with the Shadow variant of Magnezone, Weekly Tough, as well as Tropius, basically an ABB style line, kind of know, like, I don't know. Like, the thing is with this here, if you're going to encounter something in the lead, like, I don't know, like something like a Whiscash, you would rather want to swap into the Weekly Tough. If you're going to encounter something like a fighting type like the Annihilate, you would most likely rather want to swap out into the Tropius. So this team got up to rank 1 in the world. I'm also going to make a showcase on this team as well on my channel because I wasn't able to do it the last time. This got up to rank 1 in the world, but yeah, definitely going to be an interesting team. Very toxic team, but also a very fast team because you don't have Bastion on this team. You have the Magnezone instead, which is just going to make the gameplay a little bit faster, and it's like one of the strongest core breaker, meta breakers right now in the game anyway. Cool team, definitely something I want to try out as well, and we can move on to team number 2. We're going to have here a team, I think this is going to be from the Catch Cup, I think, as far as I can see this. But anyway, like, this is going to be a team that, always, by the way, if it's a team from someone else, it's always, like, on the top left corner. Otherwise, it's going to be a team that's from me. So, here, it's not a team from me, but it's going to be a team with the Lantern, the Empoleon. They can use the Shadow variant. You don't have to use the Shadow variant in the Mandibus. This player got, I think, up, like, 400 points with this team. So, definitely a solid one to use for sure. There are some weaknesses on this one, though, because you have something like Whiscash, which can be a little bit of an issue in the lead. But still very solid double water line, ABA style line. But honestly, like, Empoleon is going to be another team later on with Empoleon as well. It's a solid Pokemon to use in the current meta. Really like this thing, especially as a Shadow variant. I recently built a Shadow variant, and I have to say Shadow is, in my opinion, way better than the normal variant of this Pokemon, but both are still viable. Team number 3 is a team that I also kind of want to take a look at. We're going to have a team here from the World Champion, which they used to climb up a lot of Elo back in the day, like a few weeks ago, of course. And this is going to be with the normal Feraligatr. Why normal Feraligatr? Actually used in different videos as well already for the same reason as they are using it. You just have a way better matchup against Gligar. Like, you're going to have a way better matchup against Gligar. Here, you kind of want to win the lead usually and then align yourself because you have Cresselia and Whiscash, which can basically beat each other's weaknesses. For example, Whiscash is going to be able to beat all those Steel-type Pokemon that Cresselia doesn't want to face. Here you can decide if you want to go for Future Sight or Moonblast, depending on what you kind of feel you're more weak to. Future Sight is going to be better neutral. Moonblast is going to help you out with Dragon-type Pokemon like the Guzzlord. Anyway, Feraligatr, definitely a solid Pokemon, also in the non-shader variant in the lead, definitely like the non-shader variant in certain teams as well. Very cool team, very cool Pokemon, but we can move on now to the next team. This is going to be a team that I think I'll showcase in like 4 top team videos, but I kind of have to still put it in here because it is, in my opinion, one of the best teams to push to Legend. We have like 3 different kind of teams here. I saw some people commenting, oh, I don't like when there are like more than like one line of Pokemon on the right side. I can even explain a little bit more towards it. I was using Shadow Magnezone, Annihilate, and the Mantine, as you can see here. You can actually decide on Annihilate as well to go for the Ice Punch over the Shadow Ball, which I liked recently quite a lot, but it's up to you. And then Palosha used the Shadow Magnezone, the Gligar, as well as the Cresselia as a team. The other one was the Shadow variant of the Alone Sandslash and the Annihilate and Mantine in the back. So like that's kind of how that goes. But basically what is happening if you have like multiple Pokemon on the right side is you can always use for the first slot in terms of the lead either of them. You can always use like as a save swap either of them, and like in the back you can use either of them. So you can also run something like Magnezone, Gligar, and Mantine, and would be a solid team. So like that's kind of what you can do. Like, it doesn't really matter which one you choose as long as you kind of keep the order of it. Here, this team that I used the most this season, honestly, is like one of my favorite teams for sure. Very solid one. Really like this one. Definitely something I would really recommend you to still try out. As I know that a lot of people actually had Legend with this team as well then later on, so really cool team. My favorite for sure, and we can move on to team number 5. Team number 5, we're going to have a team here that so many people hit Legend with that I'm not going to put them all on like the top left corner, but like this is something that a lot of people used. Double normal backline seems to be very solid in the current meta. We're going to have the Whiskish in the lead, you can use Shadow variant, you can use the normal variant, you can use the Lantern instead, and then Saysop of Lickitung and Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff is such a strong Pokemon that a lot of people kind of underestimate while team building. Even I think in the play Pokemon format, this Pokemon got some love recently, as this thing can actually beat so many Pokemon, especially in the 2-shield scenario. So here you have 2 bulky Pokemon in the lead, which can basically also survive without shields a lot of times, and you can just charm down anything in the back, which is quite funny. Also, if you're gonna have Whiskish in the lead and you Saysop the Lickitung, you're basically always going to get out the Steel-type Pokemon, something like Skarmory if it's lurking in the back, because they kind of want to avoid the lead matchup, and that's kind of why you want to have the Saysop of Lickitung and Wigglytuff in the back, just because you're going to be able to set up the Wigglytuff kind of easily, because Lickitung has so many neutral matchups also against Steel-type Pokemon, because Lick is still neutral, Bullstorm still spams quite a lot, which I kind of wish would not be the case, but maybe I make a video towards it as well. But yeah, that's going to be team number 5. We can move on to team number 6. This is going to be a team that you saw on my channel as well. Of course, I kind of want to change one moveset because of this, but I climbed up, I think, like from 2,800 to like 3,200 rating with this team. This team was amazing to play. I played Jumpluff. I played Jumpluff with the Solar Beam, which I would not recommend you to go for, but I played it with the Aerial Ace, and yeah, then like I would recommend you to go for Energy Ball instead. Solar Beam was usually like overkill, but Jumpluff was so strong. Honestly, this Pokemon was so surprisingly good. Lantern in the lead and Sableye in a safe swap position was also really great for this team, so would really recommend you to try this one out. Jumpluff with Aerial Ace was surprisingly so overpowered, like literally one of the best Pokemon that I played all season. Again, would really recommend you to try this team out. Maybe just don't go for Solar Beam on Jumpluff, which I did just for content reasons, because I did not expect that this Pokemon would be as good, but like honestly, this thing was amazing. Because now with the Aerial Ace, you're going to be able to go for the first one after 5 fast moves, and for the second one after 4 fast moves, you're going to be able to outspeed something like an Annihilate, which is really, really cool as well. And as you can see here, we have 2 hard answers in the back for the Annihilate, like which you can see as well with the Sableye and the Jumpluff. And so like this is a really cool team to use, would really recommend you to try it out, and we can move on to team number 7. This is also a team that I showcased early on, that basically everybody knew from the beginning that this would be one of the most consistent solid teams to run. Hakomo or the Gustode in the lead, Saysop of Feraligatr, and then Skarmory or the Lantern in the back. Like this was basically, I think, on my first top team video for like buffed Pokemon for the season. This was like on there, and honestly, this team was performing always super, super well for me, and I saw also a lot of other people hit Legend with this one, so like, yeah, this team is just very, very solid. Definitely would recommend you to try it out if you want to climb up to Legend. Number 8, we're going to have the Vigoroth, we're going to have the Sableye, we're going to have the Giratina in the back. This is one of my favorite teams. I've never made actually a video about it. Maybe I'm gonna do it for the final week actually, because like this team was so much fun for me to play. Of course, it is very difficult to get that Giratina origin. I hope that you have one, because like this Pokemon is actually quite decent in the current meta, especially as there are also quite a lot of Charger Bugs again, and you completely destroy Charger Bug with this Pokemon. So yeah, Giratina, a lot of fun. Sableye, a lot of fun as a side sub, especially as you can get out something like a Lickitung all the time. You have the hardest answer to Lickitung in the lead, you're going to have the Saysop that can bait it out, and you have the hardest loss to Lickitung in the back. And this is kind of how this works in ABB style line, and it was like so much fun to play. Definitely would recommend you to try this one out for sure. Team number 9, like this was also like one that I just chose from old Legend teams as well, from Softtop, which I feel like is quite a good team to use. We're going to have here Lickitung, which is just a neutral lead basically, and Annihilate and Gligar in the back. And this is just going to be a very safe team, and that's kind of what I wanted to focus on anyway. Like this is going to be a team that you can just run, and you're very likely going to just get good results based on the Pokemon that you have here. As Lickitung in the lead is really, really good in the current meta. Saysop of Annihilate is really good in the current meta, and Gligar in the back is also just like one of the strongest Pokemon. So you have like full banner Pokemon, and yeah, it is a very good team here. For sure, I would recommend you to try it out, and let's move on to team number 10. Final team for today is going to be, again, one with Empoleon, as said earlier on already. This team is going to be also kind of similar to the one that we had before. We have a fighting type weakness in the lead. We're going to have a say-swap here this time around of Gallagher and the Annihilate in the back. Again, you can kind of change on both teams kind of what you want to use as a say-swap. But this kind of similar towards what we saw before, but this was just a very solid line to go for. Here, I actually feel like that Annihilate as a say-swap maybe makes a little bit more sense. Why is this the case? Because you have the lead of Empoleon, which is quite decent against Skarmory. And if you swap out into your Gallagher, it's very likely you get out the Skarmory, but you cannot really hit it back. And so if you go into the Annihilate instead, you might still be able to get out the Skarmory, but still hit it back. So I feel like this would also be a decent play for this team. It is a little bit awkward for this team because the Feraligatr can be a little bit of a trickier one, but they cannot beat all of your pressure here with this one. So yeah, still a team that got 2 people to Legend. Definitely something I would recommend you to try out as well. And hopefully you enjoyed the video and hopefully you enjoyed the content throughout the season as well on my channel. Next season hopefully gonna be a little bit better. I also have like some more content ideas that I maybe try to put on as well. Going to be a little bit tricky because I also have university going on, but at least soon I'm going to have a little bit more free time afterwards again. So hopefully I can do some very cool content this season, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.